this is not an expression that people use here at all. They have no
No.
idea what I'm saying.
Secret. I've never heard that.
Yeah, I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like loaded
I
for
assumed
bear.
as much, but it's
It's
secret
like,
squirrel. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, that kind of just went out in the air and just went thump.
Yeah.
So
We knew you weren't from Northern Ontario in that moment.
yeah, and then there's a few little words that I say that apparently I have no idea what they are, but make people grin a little bit. So the way I say them. But,
Awesome.
yeah.
What do you think, Sam? Give them 2 minutes.
Well, it is 7 o'clock. If you want to maybe do an introduction, we can start right now. I started the recording, so if you want to wait maybe another minute or so, if you want to get started.
Sure.
You caught the secret squirrel on recording?
Yeah, with
Yes.
secret squirrel has been caught.
I'm like, maybe the incriminating stuff's coming out. I'll press record now. So
Yeah.
no, we just record for all the wonderful people who couldn't make it today, and then we can share the session with them afterwards too. So
Yeah. So to be clear, these are applicants, but not some may be confirmed, some may not be confirmed. Is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
And did you get any RSVPs or?
No, it was just
Didn't ask for it.
sent.
Yeah.
No, it didn't ask for it. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
gotcha.
So I know that I had a couple of responses of applicants that weren't able to attend. So that's why one of the reasons why we'll record, and then we'll send that out and then follow up with them
Sure.
individually and stuff. So. I guess I can do this. I'll take over a share. Okay, Sam?
Yeah, most certainly.
All right. All right. So first of all, obviously, thanks everybody for taking time out of their evening. Obviously, with the weather as nice as it is, it's probably tough to get inside and out of the sun. Hopefully, you guys all spent enough time in the sun today that this is kind of a nice welcome break from the heat and the humidity and whatnot. Like I said, we're going to go over kind of the expectations for all of our justice programs from a fitness standpoint. One of the big reasons why we thought that this is important is that obviously, if the majority of you are and or typically involved heavily in fitness and active and whatnot, we know that everybody, including myself, doesn't have access to the typical facilities that they normally would heading into September. So in my opinion, I think it's kind of I don't know if scary is the right word, but a little bit nerve-wracking knowing that the programs that you're applying to are going to have a major fitness component, and the industry in which you're hoping to become employed with are going to have a major fitness component as well too. So just to chat about things you can be doing now to either at bare minimum kind of maintain your fitness throughout the summer months and hopefully be improving your fitness throughout the summer months leading into September to try to make sure that you can be as successful as possible when we do get rolling there the first week of September. From a brief agenda standpoint, I'll just go over this quickly, and then I'll let Bill chat, and then we can move forward from there. So we're going to talk about the course overview. So course overview in regards to that first semester fitness course, regardless of which program it is that you're interested in. I've got a couple of video links, which I will eventually send out the slideshow to all attendees as well too. I'll get that list from Sam. So everybody has a chance to review those video links in a little bit greater detail. What you can be doing now to best prepare for September, keys for success leading into September, how to avoid plateaus when training and whatnot on your own, and what September is going to look like for the sake of Fit 1510. Obviously, there's lots of questions about everything that's going on. We'll do our best to answer those, but also be mindful of the fact that the situation that is so dynamic. Everything could change at a snap of a finger. So I think I'm as up to date as I can be based off the meeting with my boss this afternoon in terms of what our plan is in relationship to fitness and our justice programs. But just being mindful that I'm a pretty optimistic person, one might say. And but yeah, like I said, I'll let you guys in on what the scoop is for where we're at and hopefully where we're going 14 weeks from today. So I'll pass it over to Bill. So for those of you that weren't in the chat a little bit earlier on, Bill Best is the president our college here at Cambrian, and I invited him just to say hello. You'll see him in the hallways, hopefully when the time comes. And the floor is yours.
Thanks, Thomas. First of all, to everybody on this Zoom call, thanks for your interest and your application, and we look forward to having you part of the Cambrian family. I think something that if you've never been to Cambrian before, I think you're going to really enjoy, whether it's a virtual situation or a face-to-face situation. We really look forward to having you part of our family. And I know a lot of times that word is used, but I think that's the real reality that you'll experience. And to give you a little bit of insight into it, so first of all, I'm the old guy still trying to stay in shape. Thomas can attest to that. So if I can do it, you can do it. And so one of the things that I found, just to encourage you, that there's no real reason. So Thomas has paid me to say this, by the way.
Yeah.
There's no real reason to stay in shape because the weather outside is beautiful. If you're like me and you don't want people to see you run, you get up really early when nobody can see you. If that's your choice, it's beautiful in the afternoon if you want to do that instead. And one of the best investments I did during COVID was to actually get a mountain bike so we could actually get out biking again. So, make sure you do stay out. Make sure you're able to do what it is you can to go forward. And the nice thing about this program is that you actually do get to compete. And Thomas was one of my teammates one year when I participated in the obstacle course. It kind of proves that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And the reality is that Thomas did give me the easiest part of the obstacle course, and I do appreciate it. So thanks for joining. Stay in tune with what you need to do. We look forward to being part of Cambrian, and we really do appreciate your interest. And hopefully we can answer all your questions. I'm going to sign off now and leave you in the good hands of everybody here. But we've got lots of great people here to support you, and best of luck. And hope to see you in the future.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
Thank you very much, Bill.
All right, take care, folks.
All right, so we'll jump right into it in terms of what that first semester course is going to look like from a breakdown standpoint. Yes.
Thomas, maybe you want to just maybe a quick introduction of who's all here from Cambrian, just so they know who to direct their questions to.
That might work too. So yeah, I'm Thomas Kingston. I guess I should start with that. That might help. I teach the fitness courses across our justice programs. I'm one of the 2 fitness faculty. There's also my colleague, Megan Benham. I've been at the college for 4+ years now, teaching a variety of justice fitness courses as well as firefighting fitness course. I'm actually a former Cambrian graduate many moons ago, before I went on to Laurentian University and took phys ed, and ultimately made my way back. So I've experienced Cambrian on both sides of the classroom. Nothing but great things to say. I moved from Southern Ontario to Sudbury for the purpose of going to school, and much to my wife's displeasure, because she'd much rather be a little bit closer to family, we never moved home. So we're here for good now. I will introduce you to Cynthia Booth. Cynthia is the coordinator of our CJS program. Cynthia, if you want to say a couple words, you're more than welcome to.
All right, I'll be brief. I want to say welcome to the session. It's a great opportunity, the first time ever that we in the School of Justice are getting the opportunity to, out of the gate, share with you some of the expectations. And so we're really grateful that Thomas is willing to take on this torch and run with it. Here at Cambrian, we do everything as a team as much as possible. For those of you that haven't been able to make it out to our virtual forums yet, behind me, I'm sitting in the Cambrian scenario room. And so we do a lot of experiential learning, and you're going to hear from Thomas exactly why that's important. Regardless of which program you're coming from, if it's police foundations, protection, security investigations, or community and justice services, we are going to be able to effectively support you to be physically fit, emotionally, mentally, as well as physically in preparation for your career. So enjoy the session, and if there are particular questions of me, because you're coming from a CJS perspective, we can definitely do that a little later on, or by email. So enjoy.
Awesome, thanks, Cynthia. And then we have Dalton Kipp. So Dalton Had a tough day at work today, slinging bricks he was talking about. So Dalton's actually a varsity volleyball player and entering second year police foundations at Cambrian. Dalton lives near Woodstock, so he also traveled from afar to be a student at Cambrian. From a fitness standpoint, Dalton's one of the best we've had, one of the best I've had in the years. I think he ended up with like a 99 last semester. So if you have any questions relationship to fitness, Dalton, did you live on residence?
Yeah, I lived in townhouses.
Okay. Student living, what's it like to be a varsity athlete while balancing studies and or just what's college like in general? Feel free to ask those questions and we can get Dalton to answer those directly. I don't know if Dalton, if you have anything else to add.
Not really, no.
Perfect. Dalton, I think, so yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions specific to what it's like to be a student at Cambrian, obviously that's always changing right now. But I invited Dalton in to speak to you, and Dalton we tend to rely on our second year students to be mentors for our incoming groups. So I'm sure all of you will get to know Dalton during your time at Cambrian because he's one of our top dogs in terms of leadership, and as a faculty and along with other coordinators and stuff like that. We really appreciate students like Dalton that are willing to go above and beyond and lend a helping hand whenever we reach out. And Sam, you want to do a little intro?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Sam Puckett. I'm one of the recruiters at Cambrian, so I have nothing to do with fitness or anything like that. But I'm here to basically, if you have any general questions, I'll be here to answer them for you. So anything involving Cambrian that's maybe not related to the programs, but if you just want to know more about the college, what we have to offer, services, anything like that, I'd love to answer any of those questions. I'm also going to be writing the chat. So any questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to be the one answering them. And I've left a few of our email addresses as well too. So even after today, we have our general info email, but I also left Thomas's and Cynthia's email in the chat. So if you wanted to reach out directly with them about a question involving your particular program, feel free to reach out with them as well. And again, I want to thank you so much for being here today. Thomas, I've known Thomas for a couple of years now. He's wonderful at what he does. So yeah, thanks for being here.
Awesome. All right, so we'll get into it. My background picture is from the fitness challenge. You guys will get to know I'm uber competitive. So in the fitness challenge, all of the different programs and relationships to justice, emergency services, as well as our physical fitness management or fitness and health promotion program, I should say now, and Powerline compete in what is a fitness challenge that has components from all sorts of different standardized fitness tests. And so it's always about beating fire and paramedic and everybody else. And there is some staff teams and whatnot. So that's what Bill was alluding to. Bill was on our staff team there. He pretty good for a man of his age, you might say. He would never admit to that, but I guess I can say it now that he's gone. So yeah, we'll move forward.
So
Yeah, that's right. It's all legit now. We'll move forward. I want to make sure I don't keep you guys all night. I'm actually hoping to take my little guy out and do a little bit of fishing. Once we're all done here. So we'll get at her. All right, so course code FIT 1510. So FIT 1510 is our initial fitness course. If you are interested in the Protection Security Investigation Program, this actually won't be until your third semester at Cambrian. So our second year PSI students, in second year, that's when those students will start taking fitness, and they'll have a fitness in their third and fourth semester. If you're interested in community and justice services, you'll only have one fitness course, but it'll be that first year, first semester. So we get right into it right away. And if you're interested in police foundations, you're actually going to have fitness every semester. So that first year, first semester course is actually the only course we have that has a theory component from a fitness standpoint. So once you get through FIT 1510, those subsequent fitness courses, specifically in police foundations, there's no theory component. We're in the gym, 2 1-hour classes per week. So very, very hands-on. That first year, first semester course is going to have 1 hour of theory and 1 hour of practical in the gym. So we're going to take what we're learning in theory, the importance of physical fitness, exercise, proper nutrition, stress management, everything else like that, roll it up into a ball, apply some of those principles to our learning when we're in the gym, exercising, practicing standardized testing and whatnot. and really use that theory background to best support what it is that message we're trying to drive when we're in the gym, sweaty, or outside on the soccer field or on the track, whatever that may be. So like I said, if you're interested in police foundations, after that first semester course, you're going to be in the gym, in the gymnasium with either myself or my colleague Megan for 2 1-hour classes per week. So it's super hands-on. Right now for September, this is based off of where things are at as of this afternoon, is that we are planning for the practical component of fitness to be offered on campus. Nothing is obviously can be guaranteed with how dynamic this situation is, but the way things stand right now, you will have fitness on campus once per week, right? As you take 15-10, and then when you move into subsequent semesters, whether if you're in first year police foundations, then you'll have fitness twice per week on campus in the gym moving forward. You'll see the little pie chart here. Fitness can seem to be really easy for some people because they have a very athletic background. Maybe they really enjoy fitness, and fitness can be really scary for others, right? And it's important to make sure, regardless of where you fall in that spectrum during your time at Cambrian, that it's our job to support you. So you'll see here the breakdown of the course. We'll see performance-based testing. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the industry standardized stuff in a few minutes. But only 25% of your fitness grade is truly based off of things like how fast you can go through an obstacle course or how long you can run. And like I said, we'll get a little bit more into detail about those. But if we look at the other 75%, there's no reason why you shouldn't get full marks or the majority of full marks on everything else, right? Obviously, the theory-based learning, it's our job to best support you and prepare you for the 2 tests that you will have. And I think how we're currently teaching in an online setting is similar to this right now. And I can only speak to my fitness theory delivery, but this is very similar to what learning may look like for certain courses at Cambrian come September, and having that live interaction with students. And if you have a question, you enter it in the chat, you can speak up. Trust me, I would much rather be in a classroom delivering this face-to-face and making notes on a whiteboard and stuff like that. And I think we obviously all would. But based off the situation that is, I say with confidence, I think that this is the best way to do things based off of the circumstances that are currently existing. Having live interaction is so important. And, you know, even when it's a matter of students just showing up and ask them how their week's going or how was their weekend or how are they finding the adjustment of post-secondary, and having that chance to make that small talk, it's our job to support you. And one of the reasons why I personally wanted to make my way back to Cambrian on the teaching side of things is that 10 years ago when I was a student, my teacher's doors were always open, whether it was to talk about my grades, whether it was talk about family stuff, whether it was talk about how good or how bad the Leafs were. It was bad back then at the time. The door was always open, and they were always there to support me. And I know that that's something I kind of try to hang my hat on, and I can only speak for myself, but obviously I can say in confidence that the rest of my colleagues are in the same boat of like, it's our job to help you in the classroom, out of the classroom, any way we possibly can. We're here for you. So although it may look a little different come September, just know that it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask for help, because ultimately it's our job. And it's great to see you guys here tonight, and, you know, obviously taking your studies seriously and taking an hour out of your time on a beautiful evening to come and chat and hear what we have to offer at Cambrian. But regardless of what September looks like, just know that our doors are always open, or our Zoom rooms are always open. And we'll do everything we can to help you be successful, whether it's you're local to Sudbury or moving from the other end of the province or whatever that may be. So to get back on track here a little bit, we'll see the practical application grade. So that practical application grade is kind of a fancy way of saying attendance. So if you show up, participate, complete the workouts safely, prepared adequately for physical activity, there's no reason why you shouldn't get all of these marks. So super attainable, as well as the workout log. So there is an expectation for students maintaining their fitness outside of class time. I will talk a little bit more about that in a little while. Our intramural program is an opportunity for us to gather students from all of our different justice programs, get them together Depending on what that looks like come September, it may end up being a series of guest speakers from community partners. I've already got it lined up that the wellness coordinator from Greater Sudbury Police is going to come in and speak to the importance of mental health in justice and emergency services, and mental well-being, PTSD, everything else like that. So we try to get a variety of different speakers in. This is a little bit more face-to-face when we're not faced with these situations that are, but we're going to work through it nonetheless. So this is kind of an idea of what the breakdown looks like for a fitness course. As you progress specifically in police foundations and you have for fitness classes, the performance-based component of the course continues to grow. So we add in other industry standardized tests to best prepare you for the field, as well as our expectation is that, you know, after 1 semester, 2 semesters, 3 semesters, and into the second year, second semester, we're trying to best prepare you to be the best applicant you can for regardless of what it is that you're going into. So super, super important to be mindful of the fact that we do have pretty high expectations, and our expectations definitely change as you progress through your time at Cambrian. So to speak to that, this is the performance-based breakdown for our fitness courses. If you are interested in CJSP, instead of the prep, it is called the Fit CO. So I'll outline that test as well. Or PSIP, that is also going to be the Fit CO. The prep test is a test specific to policing. The shuttle is going to be a staple regardless of which program of study that you are taking. So you'll just see here just a better illustration of the increase in industry standardized fitness tests and the increase in the weighting of those standardized fitness tests as you move forward during your time at Cambrian. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show a little 3-minute video clip of the prep test, which is the police standardized fitness test. Once again, I'm gonna send out this link to everybody, or the slideshow to everybody, so you'll be able to review these in a little bit greater detail. I will outline some of the components that are in the prep and where they fall into the FitCo test. I probably won't go through the FitCo test just because I don't have a shortened video of it, but I'll definitely make sure that that is accessible to everybody. So minimize this, put it here. So this is from Peel Regional, so hopefully this works for everybody. I'm gonna unplug. You guys have the audio? Perfect. So I'll speak to some of these points that the overviews this testing as a whole.
Hi, my name is Leslie Elliott, and I'm the fitness coordinator here at Peel Regional Police. Today we're going to be going over the prep test and some of the new changes that we have implemented. When you start the test, you'll be starting to the right of the pylon. You would be wearing a belt and a vest. This year we've added the vest as an additional piece of equipment. Once you start the test, you'll be making your way around the short wall and going up to the 6.5-foot wall. For the new test, we've added a 6.5-foot wall. The applicant must jump, peer over it, and let us know what the number is on the floor. You would be required to go up and down the stairs, hitting a minimum of 2 steps on the way up, the top step, and a minimum of 2 on the way down. Once you descend down from the stairs, you would be required to go under the barrier. You can crawl, roll, or slide under, avoiding hitting the actual barrier. So after the barrier, you're going to make your way around the pylon and then up to the 4-foot wall. 1 foot or leg must touch the top of the wall for safety purposes. Once you jump over the wall, you're then going to make your way to the 6.5-foot wall. You're going to touch the wall and then go onto the stairs. Once you touch the 6.5-foot wall, you're going to continue up and down the stairs, hitting a minimum of 2 steps on the way up, the top 1 and 2 on the way down. You will then continue under the barrier and onto the push-pull machine.
So the push-pull machine is a component of the testing that will be included in all of our standardized tests.
78 pounds, and we are now using a movement that simulates you actually resisting a suspect. You are going to be required to push the weight in, release it, pull, and make your way over to the wall. You're then going to release and push and make your way back to the center. You're going to continue that motion going to the right and to the left for 4 arcs.
And the best part is you don't have to remember any of this. This is my job to make sure you guys know what's up.
So the arm restraint portion of the test is simulating handcuffing a suspect. So what you would do is wrap your thumbs around, put your fingers on the levers, bring both arms in so that they touch in the middle, releasing it in a controlled manner. So once you've completed the circuit, you will be required to repeat the circuit once again. You will then move on to the victim drag. Some changes have been made. He's gone from 150 pounds to 170 pounds. He now has a handle, no longer holding him around the wrists, and you will be required to spin him around and make your way over the resistance mat, followed by making it around the pylon and finishing where you started. The test ends once his feet cross the black line. You must complete the test in 2 minutes and 37 seconds or better. Once the test is complete, you get a minimum of a 15-minute rest, and then you move on to the shuttle run.
Right. I'm gonna bet just watching this. That's awesome. Current slide. So like I said, so that is our prep test, which is a standardized fitness test to simulate the requirements of a police officer. There are components of that test that are included in the FIT-CO test, including the stairs, which is it ends up being 60 meters total of running. So they'll go up the stairs, down the stairs, around the cone. Repeat that for a total of 60 meters, 4 loops, 4 times up the stairs, 4 times down the stairs, as well as the push-pull simulator. It goes through the same sequence. And then their handcuff simulator is a little bit different. And instead of the dummy drag, we use a weighted plate. But there are some similarities. And the industry standardized test for the FIT-CO is 2 minutes and 8 seconds. So I will include a very detailed version of the outline of the FIT-CO test. Like I said, I don't have a shortened version of it. But if you go through the link and or have any questions about it after reviewing it, by all means, we can have a follow-up conversation with that on more of a one-on-one basis.
Hey, Thomas.
Yes.
Just a quick question. A lot of like which students are going to be graded on probably is including like improvement, right? Is that one of the big things? Is like you start off, maybe your time's not as good, and then by the end of the semester.
So when we try to pride ourselves on making sure that our students are best prepared for these industry standardized tests upon their time, either, for example, for Cynthia's group that only has the one fitness class, it's amazing to see the improvements based off the fact of, students just having access to this equipment on a regular basis. This is one of the reasons why I've kind of done everything I can to prioritize the fact that we are face-to-face in some capacity for fitness come September. What I'm working on right now is having our typical fitness face-to-face, and then having a couple standardized testing days throughout the semester, whether it's 2, 3, 4, whatever it may be, where we can go above and beyond typical safety and cleaning procedures and protocols to ensure that all of our students have our access to our equipment multiple times throughout the semester, to make sure that when they complete their testing at the end of the semester, A, they're adequately prepared for the purpose of getting the highest grade possible, and B, if you're in a fitness course that's going to be, or you're going to have multiple fitness courses during your time at Cambrian, that we can continue to build on that. But I know that just speaking on my experience, I think we're pretty good at our jobs in terms of best preparing students throughout their time while taking a fitness course. But I also think it's important to be mindful of the fact that with the theory-based component of Fit 1510 specifically, everybody kind of has a better understanding of why this stuff is so important, and whether you're either going to a career in policing or going to a career in law, or maybe you take a justice-related program and say, hey, this isn't for me after. I think it's imperative to understand, and especially everything that's going on in the world right now, of just how truly important physical health is, right? And it's not all about being able to run miles upon miles upon miles, or do push-ups or pull-ups, whatever that may be. It's about being able to enjoy life and be inactive and getting out and getting moving. So I think that's huge. And I think that from a theory-based learning standpoint, it really drives that message home for our students.
Awesome.
Cool.
Just want to, maybe if people were kind of, thinking that, oh, maybe I won't be able to do that at this time kind of thing. Just knowing that like improvement is basically a lot of this of what we're looking at. So
yeah, for sure. And I mean, my job is super easy if you're willing to work hard. I have the easiest job in the world. When students want to work hard, my job's easy. I can give you all the tools, but it's ultimately up to you to build yourself into what you're capable of. And I mean, obviously, we spend a lot of time. We work hard. It gets sweaty. You can ask Dalton. Like, my expectations are pretty high, and they get higher during your time at Cambrian, and they get higher week by week every semester, to be quite honest. But it's especially for those who may be a little nervous about fitness. I can't stress how important it is that ultimately it's our job to support you, whether it's in class sport or outside of class, or things you can be doing on your own. And the fact that you guys are in this conversation right now is already putting you one step up and one step further ahead. Just even being mindful of health and fitness throughout these summer months. And hopefully we can get into just, working towards setting some small goals and stuff like that for September, because it is all about self-improvement, whether it's for an industry standardized test or just trying to be a better student or just try to get better grades or be a better person, whatever that is. We're going to talk about goal setting and things that we can do to ultimately improve performance in any aspect of our life.
Awesome.
Great.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah, no problem. So like I said, I'm going to send out, I'll send out the presentation. And then this here is the link. It's actually a 19 minute long video released by the ministry as per what the FIT CO is and the different components of it. And so I definitely think that I won't take your time up tonight to go over that, but I would strongly suggest going over the video links that I've attached to the presentation, because I'll make sure you guys get those. All right, so big question. So I think it was Carly who said in the chat that she was out of breath just watching that, and that's completely okay, right? It's funny, like it's okay to be like, holy smokes, like that looks tough, right? Because ultimately, if it was easy, why would you have a fitness class, right? If you could do these industry standardized tests now, what's the point of coming to Cambrian and taking a fitness class to better prepare yourself if you could walk right in and do it, right? It's supposed to be hard. Fitness is hard. The law courses are hard. Psych is hard. It's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do it, and there'd be no value in terms of what our job is as educators and whatnot, right? And it's okay when things are hard, and it's okay to face challenges. It's how you approach those challenges and how you best prepare and move forward to chip away at it, right? You're not just going to wake up tomorrow and have it be easy, but making small choices every day gets easier, regardless whether you're studying for a math test or trying to better prepare for an industry standardized test. If you're somebody who's not currently super active, that's completely fine. That is all good. Our expectations, whether you come in as a varsity athlete like Dalton, or somebody who may be removed from high school for a few years, or you have a family, or you're a mature student, it's our job to support you regardless, right? And it's no different than, some people are better at math than others. Some people are better at law than others. We know that we have a wide variety of backgrounds coming into fitness, and that's completely okay. And like I said, it's our job to support you. If you are just getting back into fitness, and or fitness hasn't been a major component of your life, even maybe it was before everything presented itself, and now you don't have access to a gym, and you're just like, what the heck can I be doing right now? My biggest suggestion is just prioritize physical activity, right? It doesn't necessarily always have to be exercise. Going for a walk, going for a hike, going canoeing, going swimming. Dalton's been slinging bricks for work. Like, that is physical activity, right? He's burning lots of calories. His body's working. It's placing stress on the cardiovascular system. It's placing stress on muscular endurance, muscular strength, the body as a whole. Just move, right? That's the first step, right? If you are somebody who is a little bit more active and you're looking to kind of take that next step, I'll talk a little bit more about variables that we can change. But the first foremost message, for the purpose of health, regardless whether you're an art student, civil engineering, whatever it may be, you should be trying to shoot for 150 minutes a week of moderate to high intensity exercise or physical activity. Okay, that is for the purpose of health. That's from the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology. That is what you should be shooting for. That's what your parents, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, whatever it may be, this is kind of the standard in terms of, for the purpose of improved health, that's what you should be shooting for. And if that's where you're at right now, or you're not meeting that right now, that's completely okay, right? It's all about trying to build towards it. You guys have 14 weeks before we see you in September, right? If you can make baby steps over 14 weeks, you're going to be thanking yourself come the first time I see you in the gym, September 7th or 8th, whatever that is. I can assure you that, because it's going to be hard. It's supposed to be hard. That's my job, to make it hard.
I'm getting about 150 seconds per week, so I need a little bit of extra work there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the call.
Okay. You gotta hook me up with some lessons, man.
Yeah,
So
you're only 147 minutes short, Sam.
that's all right. I can deal with that.
We're gonna chip away.
Thanks, man.
If we're getting that physical activity, and whether that's, like I said, hiking, canoeing, kayaking, whatever that may be, obviously with this warm weather, there's lots of options. And we're looking at adding some form of resistance training, and that can be something as simple as push-ups, pull-ups, single arm rows, planks, whatever it may be. Obviously, everybody has a wide variety of resources available to them. I wish that I had a lot more equipment at my home. But if you do have some equipment available to you and you want to chat about, hey, what sort of stuff can I be doing in greater detail, then by all means, shoot me an email and we can go over and kind of try to generate something that is a little bit more tailored specifically to you. But I can tell you right now, like, you're going to see lots of push-ups, you're going to see lots of squats, you're going to see lots of lunges, you're going to see lots of rows. Like, the big major compound exercises are where we need to prioritize. Compound meaning there's movement at more than one joint. So spending time on, as we can see through the prep test video and the push-pull machine, it looks big and scary, right? Regardless whether you're 110 pounds or 210 pounds, it looks intimidating. And ultimately, it all starts with a strong foundation. So things like squats and lunges, you can never do too many of. I promise you, you'll never do too many squats or lunges, and your legs will never be too strong, right? You can never be able to do too many push-ups. We're going to talk about ways that we can change variables specific to that. But obviously, it's challenging for everybody right now, because I can't just go into Cambrian and go jump in the gym. And my buddies give me the gears about that all the time. Like, oh, are you just sneaking into the college and working out? I'm stuck at home with minimal stuff like everybody else, right? So it is a little trickier to be exercising right now, because you don't have the resources that you typically would. But if you do have access to some resources and you want to chat about what makes the most sense for you, let's do it. You shoot me an email and we can follow up with that for sure. All right. So when you think about goal setting, regardless of where you fall on the spectrum of fitness, it's important to be mindful of the fact that if we're looking to try to change a behavior, if we're looking to try to make some sort of substantial improvement, it all comes down to goal setting, and self-reflection is a major component of all of our justice programs, because ultimately, I doubt any of you right now are ready to apply for a career in the justice fields. And if your goal right now is just, I want to be a good candidate to get a job come 2 years from now, to be quite honest, it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle, right? We need to do a better job of setting goals. And, I hear all the time, my goal is to be healthy. My goal is to eat healthier. I want to be in better shape. What the heck is that stuff, right? What is healthier? What is better shape? What is more fit? If I don't have a specific goal, it's hard for me to reflect back on whether I'm being successful or not, right? And, setting specific goals, whether it's saving money, whether it's trying to lose weight, whether it's trying to gain weight, whether it's trying to run faster, jump higher, whatever it may be, it's imperative to set a goal that you'll know upon the completion of the time frame that you're setting it out for, whether you're successful or not. And it is completely okay to not be successful. Some of the best lessons learned are ones that you weren't successful. Whether it's applying for a job, whether it's school, whatever it may be, it's okay to not be successful. It's not okay to just roll over and quit after, right? It's important to have that ability to think critically and reflect back on what you could have done differently. So when we think of goals for the purpose of fitness, right, and maybe you're somebody who isn't very active right now, and like I said, that's completely fine. And to set a goal and a place to start, it may be something as simple as, my goal is to go for 3 20-minute walks per week, right? Upon the end of the week, whether you met that goal or not, right? You can measure it. It's super easy. You start walking, you start the timer on your phone, you go for a socially distanced walk with your friend or your neighbor and keep your space and enjoy the social side of things, or you go to a nearby park right? And hike trails, whatever it may be. But I know at the end of the week, whether I met that goal or not. And maybe, you know, work got really crazy, so you only got for one walk this week, and that's okay, right? It's okay to not meet your goals, right? But I also have to be able to step back, take that second and go, okay, well, what could I have done differently, right? If I set a goal of, hey, like in a normal time, like, hey, my goal is to go to the gym 5 days a week at 5:30 in the morning, right? And that's super, super, like, if you're not a morning person, that wouldn't be a very realistic goal, right? And especially if you're not active, like, it's important to be mindful of where you are right now and trying to set a goal specific to your current state, not to the, you know, don't try to set a goal like Dalton if you're somebody who's not active, right? If Dalton's setting goals similar to somebody who isn't very active, I'm gonna have a really hard conversation with Dalton about that, especially as a second-year student, right? You have to be critical of your own current state and think of what you can do to be 5% better, 2% better, 10% better, whatever it may be within a reasonable time frame. If you are somebody who is, you know, relatively active, we know that we need to do a lot of running, you know, specifically in as you progress within police foundations, fitness courses, and there are more performance-based fitness tests, right? Looking at things like the PIN test standards and trying to say, okay, I know that to get 50 out of 50 on the 1.5 mile run, which is a standardized fitness test across the board for the majority of police services, I need to be able, for my age, I need to be able to do it under 9:22. Okay, you don't need to be able to do 9:22 tomorrow. If my current state is 11 minutes for that, you know, maybe my goal is to be under 10:50 by the end of June. And then my goal is to be under 10:40, 10:30, whatever that may be, whatever it looks like. You just want to make kind of those baby steps, right? And it's important to have a reasonable time frame for goals. Because if my goal is to, let's say my goal is to be able to do 100 push-ups by the end of this year. The end of this year is a long ways away, right? And I can always wait till tomorrow to practice, right? I can always wait till tomorrow to start taking that goal more seriously. If my goal is to be able to do 100 push-ups by the end of the year, and I know that that's 7 months away, why don't I set a goal for being able to do 60 push-ups by the end of this month, right? And then from there, okay, my goal is to be able to do 65, my goal is to be able to do 70, my goal is to be able to do 80, and build on it like that. If you don't have a good time component for any goal, it's tough for us to want to change that behavior, right? If my goal is to save $1,000, right? And somebody comes and like, hey, there's a really good deal on golf clubs right now, and they're $400 and they're normally $900. I'm gonna go, okay, I'm gonna spend that $400. I can save that money another day, but ultimately I'm not gonna reach that goal in the time frame which I had originally hoped for, because there's all sorts of other distracting factors, right? So regardless of what your state is now, my suggestion is to all of you is review these industry standardized tests, figure out what you're not good at or what you really need to improve on, and set a goal specific to that. And once again, just like I mentioned before, if you guys want to chat one-on-one to go over this in greater detail, by all means. Like Kyle, I've met with him 3 times already as a police foundation. I spent 45 minutes on Zoom with him this morning talking about where he's at. And I'm more than happy to do that with each and every one of you, because it's our job. But if you go through these tests and like, hey, I'm not really sure where to start, that's completely okay. Let's have subsequent conversations one-on-one and figure out what we think might work best for you and the challenges that you may face, because we know that everybody's facing different factors as well too. All right, so how to avoid plateaus. So the principle of progressive overload, I can use the example, I'm going to use the example of alcohol and or caffeine. And you're like, what in the world is this guy talking about using the example of alcohol? But it's going to make sense. Exercise is like alcohol, or exercise is like caffeine, okay? The first time you have one alcoholic beverage or the first time you have a coffee, your body responds to that, right? Because it's a stimulus that it's never experienced before, right? You know, maybe your face gets a little hot, maybe you're itchy and you're a little wobbly and you're like, holy smokes, like no wonder why my parents said this stuff is so great, right? Like this is that, right? Like it's like, or you have that coffee and you're bouncing off the walls, right? But what happens is it's 100%, you laugh, but it's 100% the exact same, like it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens is assuming you're of age, a couple of weeks later, you have another drink, but you just have one. You have the exact same, everything else is the exact same. You had one Bud Light beer and that's it. And your body's response to that is going to be about the same as what it was the first time. If you keep having one beer over and over and over, the response to that becomes less and less and less, right? Or you just keep having that one small coffee. Our body's response to caffeine becomes less and less and less. So how do I get the same result that I had after the first time I had that drink or the first time I had that coffee? Right? It's exercise is the exact same thing, right? If you go for a 1 mile walk and you're like, hey, I'm going to try to practice walking 1 mile, and you go for that 1 mile walk 3 times a week, and it takes you 15 minutes every time, and everything else stays the same, right? Your body's response after that first time doing that 1 mile, you're like, holy cow, I'm a little out of breath. My legs are tired, right? You wake up the next day, you're a little stiff, you're a little sore, right? And that's okay. But that 1 mile gets so much easier if we don't change what it is that we're doing or a variable in relationship to our exercise. Then the response and the benefits of that exercise becomes less and less and less. There's what's called diminishing returns, right? So in relationship back to our alcohol example, right? Instead of having 1 beer, I have 2 beers, right? Instead of having 2 beers, I have 3 beers, and so on and so forth. Exercise is the exact same thing. You have to be changing variables. You either need to be changing the frequency. So how often we're exercising. If I have a set workout at home and I do it once a week or twice a week, if I want to see more results, I need to be doing it more often, right? Even if everything else is the exact same, my weights, my rest period, my distance, how fast I'm going, whatever that may be. If I'm doing the same thing, but I'm doing it 1 extra day, my body's response is going to be greater. This is awesome, right? From an intensity standpoint, right? Typically when we have access to a weight room, the easiest intensity factor to change in regards to resistance training is more weight, right? More weight, more reps, from a cardiovascular sense, faster, right? If you normally run on the treadmill at 4, maybe now you're running at 4.5, or maybe now you're running at 5. And changing that intensity is going to create a greater response. And that's huge, because what happens is people do the same thing over and over and over again. And what happens? They quit seeing results. They either quit losing weight, or they quit gaining muscle, or they quit getting stronger. They quit getting faster. And then what do? They just quit, right? If you hit that plateau and you're not sure how to overcome that plateau, no change takes place, right? And it's okay to get frustrated. It's okay to hit a plateau, but just talking about these different variables that we can change, and these can be applied to anybody, right? Regardless of how advanced or how new you may be in a training program. Like I said, these are general ideas. But if you start walking with a friend and you go for a mile 2 or 3 times this week, next week go for 1.2 miles, right? The week after go for 1.3, 1.4, or try to do the same distance in a shorter period of time. All these small changes can make a big difference, especially over an extended period of time. And the biggest thing that you guys need to be mindful of is that you guys are thinking about this, it's the end of May, right? And I can't stress how exciting that is for me as somebody who's going to teach you fitness, that you guys are coming in with a good head on your shoulders, hopefully, right? Hopefully coming to Cambrian, which we'll talk about that later. But you're going to come to Cambrian and be like, hey, Thomas, I've really been busting my butt all summer, based off when we chatted, and like, obviously we chatted, I met you the end of May. We had a subsequent follow-up conversation the 3rd week of June to figure out what works for me. And here we are. I'm going to be at Cambrian in 3 weeks, and I can't wait. I'm in the best shape of my life. I feel awesome. That makes me warm and fuzzy. Okay. So these are just some general ideas, regardless of whether you're trying to get stronger, trying to get faster, trying to be able to move more, trying to meet exercise goals. Fitbits are a great tool, right? If you normally do 8,000 steps, right? And you're like, hey, I'm going to try to improve my daily physical activity, and now I'm trying to do 9,000 or 10,000, whatever that number may be. Or you're like, hey, I've sat on the couch all day and it's 6 o'clock at night and I'm only at 4,000. You're more likely to get off the couch and go for that walk, right? And it's not always about feeling. Exercise is easy when you feel on top of the world, right? And with everything else that's going on in the world right now, and the stresses that exist and the changing variables, it's okay to not have good days. But it's just super important that you're mindful of your goals in the larger scale of things, and just chip away at it, because it's not going to happen overnight. And if you are somebody who prioritizes your fitness, you can always be more fit. I can promise you that. You can. My expectation for you as you come in is exponentially greater than what it probably should be. And Dalton is an easy example, is that one of the students that I expect 100% from everybody, regardless of what your 100% looks like, but I expect 105 or 110 from Dalton every time I see him. Because I know that that's what he needs to be 5-10% better and be that much of a better applicant upon his completion of his time at Cambrian. So these are just some general ideas in terms of how to avoid plateaus, little changes that you can make, because the last thing you want, is your exercise program becomes stagnant, because you'll get bored and then other things pop up and then you're not doing it and then you're frustrated, and then we look back and we're not at this in as good a shape as what we were, and that's frustrating, right? I mean, everybody wants to see improvement regardless of what's their grades, what's their bank account, it's their exercise routine. It's all about trying to see improvement, and changing variables is an easy way to make sure that we don't reach that stagnant point.
I want to jump into, because I know exactly what you're talking about plateaus. When I used to go to the gym, I would go and then I'd consistently just do the same weight for everything I would do. I would never add weight. I would never kind of change my regimen. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just, do 50s or whatever, and I'll do 50s every time. And then I'm like, oh man, I must be getting real jacked because this seems easier now. But it's just because I wasn't pushing it further, right? Which eventually I quit doing it, because I said, you know what, like I don't see an improvement. So I was plateauing, but I didn't change my plateau, right? I kept it where it was, which led me to not be as physically active as I wanted to at the time, right? So
Sure.
Again, yeah, it is real. It is real. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. All right. So I kind of mentioned this earlier on, but this is kind of the hot topic question across the province right now. So what can you expect come September? I can only speak to our fitness class. I can tell you that our fitness class, the lab component is going to be treated to the same extent in which lab-based learning may be in trades, dental hygiene, paramedic, right? We know that we think of lab-based learning, especially in a college setting. We think of, well, how is the student in heavy-duty coach mechanic going to learn how to do a better job of fixing machines, right? Working with equipment or welding or whatever it may be, if they were potentially to be online. My understanding is that we have the support that our fitness component, our face-to-face delivery of the fitness component, is going to be treated in the exact same manner as those other more practically based programs, let's say. So as of the way things stand right now, nothing is guaranteed, and it's been stressed to me that I can't guarantee anything. But as of right now, whatever it is, May 27th, our plan is to be exercising either in the gym or outside. It will probably be outside because I like using the soccer field and like using the track in a normal year, which we know that this is far from that. We should be learning face-to-face for the purpose of our lab-based class, okay? I can't guarantee that, but I'm telling you right now, based off everything that I know, fitness will be delivered face-to-face, and I can't wait to get to meet you guys and go over this stuff. What we can expect from you outside of class time is a minimum of 2 hours per week, working on improving your fitness. So we have those workout logs. Those are directly from the Ontario Association of Chief of Police. And that is a form which you'll get very familiar with during your time at Cambrian. That is exactly off their website, and that is what they're taking in order to be able to write your OACP certificate. That all sounds really complicated right now. You'll get to learn that during your time at Cambrian, but I can tell you that these are directly from industry. Our theory-based learning to support the work you'll be doing in the gym, including exercise planning, nutrition, stress management, etc. I've got a nice little video here of our athletics center. So it's just a quick little, I tried to get a picture, but marketing went up to me and said they had a little video, so I'll let you guys check this out.
So your sound's not on there, Tommy?
I don't think the video has sound.
Oh, okay. Just like music?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so just a quick little video there. And like I said, if you want to check that out again, the majority of our face-to-face delivery will take place in the gymnasium. So this is our full-size gym. There is a divider. One of the precautions that we're currently working on is that we would typically only have access to half of the gym space. So from where the net goes across, that big curtain comes down. We would only be scheduled for one half of the gym, and there could be other classes or other people just using the other side for recreational purposes. As of right now, we're doing our absolute best to make sure that we have access to the full gym. So from a social distancing standpoint and a spacing standpoint, that's huge. That makes my life way easier, and it probably makes your fitness class way harder, to be quite honest, but in a good way. So this is where the majority of our class will take place. Like I said, if we're not outside, utilizing the opportunity to, we have a soccer field and a track and stuff. I like to spend a lot of time out on the track and whatnot, not to stress anybody out, but that's usually my go-to, especially during the nicer months. So. All right, so this is our beautiful little courtyard for anybody who hasn't been on campus before. That's all I've got right now. I'm sure that there's all sorts of burning questions, whether it's specific to fitness or specific to our programs or anything like that. College living in general. Feel free to either unmute your mic and ask, and or enter them in the chat, whatever works best for you.
Yeah, if you have a question, there's like a raise your hand type thing at the bottom of the Zoom. I think you might be able to see that. And if you got a question, you can raise your hand and I can unmute you if you'd like. And I could see that. Or you could just put them in the chat too, and I'd love to answer it for you. But I just want to say, Thomas, yeah, really good explanation on what the students are expected to kind of be doing before. And it's you, whoever's here right now, you are getting such a wonderful head start, really, because a lot of students I find, well, I don't find you, Thomas, you probably see it, a lot of students are coming in not knowing what the process is, right, for physical exercise and physical fitness, right?
It's scary for sure, and that's okay, right? Like, yeah, I've exercised heavily and was, played junior hockey and stuff like that, and if I go into a new gym, I'm nervous, right? And this is my job, right, is teaching this stuff. And if I go into a situation that isn't common to me, like that makes me anxious. So I completely get it, right? I understand that there's, some major hesitations and stuff like that. And if there's things that we can be doing, like I said, obviously, if you guys are mindful of this now, your lives are going to be a lot easier come September. You're going to be a lot healthier next week. You're going to be a lot healthier in July. Like, this is all super important stuff. And my take on, we're not really going to open this can of worms, but there's one thing that, with what's going on in the world right now, there's one thing that has kind of been brought forth, is that those that lived healthier lifestyles or prioritized making sure that they were physically active and having strong cardiovascular systems, it's a major advantage with how scary the situation is right now, right? And I mean, it's great to be able to do standardized tests, whatever else like that, but health is the number one priority. It's not about how far you can run or how high you can jump. You've got to be able to supply adequate oxygen supplies throughout the body, right? So I think it's never been more important than right now to just prioritize health in general, regardless of what it is that you're studying, regardless of how old it is or how old you are. But I think it's super important.
I would never say that I'm the pinnacle of physical fitness at all, but I had taken two health and fitness classes when I was in high school in grade 11 and grade 12. And my teacher he pushed that, hey, you got to improve every week, every day, you're improving, you're doing this, you're doing this. And those 2 years, that was the most in shape I've ever been in my life, because we were at the gym 4 times a week, an hour a day. He was at the start, and I was intimidated at the start. I'm like, I took the class because I'm like, that'll be fun just to lift stuff, right? But like, it was something else. It was definitely physically straining, but towards the end of the semester, I'd felt great. I had learned so much about, health and the body and how everything works. That's another thing too, like, how does this work? How does, pushing this muscle and the lactic acid, that's one of those things I remember from fitness class. But no, it was honestly, those classes were just amazing experiences for me. And really, I was able to take some of that even and put that into my my later life as well too. While I was in college, I'm a public relations grad, absolutely no physical fitness associated, but going to the gym as much as I can, right? And still remembering, okay, this is what I learned and is helping me still to this day. So it's definitely a great skill to have and definitely worth practicing. Oh, we got a question. Oh, so Thomas, I don't know if you see the chat right now. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome, Lindsay. First of all, that's amazing. Great start. That will make your life a lot easier come September for sure. One thing I will suggest, if we think of what our industry standardized tests are, the biking that 8 to 10 miles from an exercise standpoint is phenomenal. But I would strongly suggest trying to start to interject a little bit of running, because we know that the biking and cycling, especially distances like that, is great for our cardiovascular system and in developing that fundamental cardiovascular capacity. But one thing that has been proven is that there is a specificity of training principle, meaning that if I want to get better, at running, I need to run, right? If I want to get better at push-ups, I need to do push-ups. If I want to get, this is kind of a funny example, but I don't get better preparing for my math test by studying history. I get smarter, right? Which is phenomenal, right? I'm developing a larger base, but it's not necessarily best preparing me for exactly what I'm trying to be best prepared for. I would rather bike than run, and I kind of wish I had a nice bike to go, but yeah, I would definitely work on starting some running and stuff like that. Somebody who's as advanced as you are, if you want, like I said, if you want to chat and look at something in a little bit greater detail, obviously you have some access to some weight training equipment. So I'm super jealous. But if you want to chat about that in greater detail, you can send me an email. We can figure out a time that works for both of us, and we can chat for sure. Awesome. Great,
I
Lindsay.
just put your email back in the chat there, Thomas, just for anybody.
Yeah, for sure. Is anybody, I was going to ask, I mean, you guys can answer this in the chat, but I was just wondering of the breakdown of everybody that's here. So I know that Kyle was interested in police foundations. Lindsay was PSIP, Rowan was police foundations. I was just wondering if you could maybe list which program you may be interested in the chat, just because I'm being nosy. Does anybody have any questions of, like, maybe you either have confirmed your offer, or maybe you're not sure how to confirm your offer, or maybe it's in relationship to OSAP or anything else like that. Obviously, there's some generic questions that I'm sure Sam could help us out with. Anything to do with anything we can do to help, differentiate Cambrian from everybody else, to be completely honest. And I know I mentioned my competitive nature there before, but it keeps coming out for some strange reason. I am pretty excited that Lindsay is leaving the Sioux to come to Sudbury.
Another thing too, yeah, again, for those of you who have, I see a lot of people already confirmed their offer. Amazing. That's wonderful. Love seeing that. For those of you who haven't, it's as easy as just going on ontariocolleges.ca. You'll see view offers at the bottom, and then you'll be able to accept your offer through there. Another thing too, and this is really great news actually. So there is a deposit that is due before June 15th to hold your seat in the program. Typically every other year it's a $500 deposit. This year it has been brought down to $250, the deposit, just because people might have lost a summer job because of, Corona, COVID. So I don't even know what to call it anymore. So so yeah, we've actually lowered our deposit to $250. So saves you, that's half the price that you have to put down. So I think that's another great thing that we're doing. Oh, well, if you paid the 500, oh, sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that too loud. If you've paid the 500, that extra 250 will be taken off of your tuition as well. So if you've already paid the 500, that's totally good. because that's going to be taken off of your tuition. So you didn't lose the money at all. So
Carly's getting a head start on her fitness and her tuition. How to go,
Yeah.
Carly?
yeah, no,
That's-
you did
that's
She's
not
great.
organized.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, that's right. I do know that Carly's very organized. That's wicked.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, you did not lose the $250. That'll just be taken off of. It just means you already paid $500. So when you go to pay the rest of your tuition, it's going to be $250 less. So
Awesome. Amber, whereabouts, or what program was it that you're interested in? I know you kind of came in late there, not to single you out. Just wondering here for my own personal sake. And then, yeah, like if any, does anybody have any questions, whether it's for me, Cynthia, Sam, Dalton? I mean, it's our job to answer those questions, right? It's crazy times. Things are always changing. Amber, awesome. That's great. Things are always changing. And I can assure you that they're changing for us too. But from a fitness standpoint, obviously, my plan is what I had mentioned before. We'll be face-to-face. You'll probably actually have, if you're in police foundations, you'll have Megan. The way things stand right now for your practical class, I spent an hour Zooming with Megan just to make sure that we were on the same page for what September looks like. And to be quite honest, we can't wait to meet you guys. This past year, specifically police foundations, we probably had our best first year group we've ever had during my time at Cambrian. And we're really hoping to kind of run with that momentum and really carry it forward and keep trying to snowball that year after year and making sure that everybody gets off on the right foot and ultimately as best prepared as possible.
we have actually
got that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Cynthia,
totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So actually, before I answer Carly's question, just want to add something that Thomas has not added and Sam has not added. So you're hearing about, you're going to have a goal and you're going to be successful because you're going to be working now already on what you are going to have for running, weight training, whatever that's going to look like. One of the advantages and why we at Cambrian push so hard for you to have the fitness component in the gym or in our recreational athletic facilities is because there's one thing Thomas hasn't said, and what helps motivate you through this is something called teamwork. And the colleagues that you are going to form friendships with in your programs are going to be motivators. And one of the things I love about hearing the CJS students come back from fitness class is, one, Cynthia, Thomas really worked us hard and I'm really sore. And then it's like, I can hardly sit down. And I'm like, well, that's good, because now with me, you're going to work your brain and that's going to be sore. And so the whole body will be sore by the time we're done. But I think the other thing that I've heard from the students is no person gets left behind. And so when there's a student that's particularly strong, and Dalton probably can speak to this better than I can, he becomes a mentor. And the student that's struggling, they work together so that the group performs better. And you learn from each other. And so a student that maybe has never worked out before comes out ahead and feeling that much more confident about their physical fitness ability, but also their emotional, mental ability, because we know that the two go hand in hand. And so don't doubt the benefit of, coming into class. So when you think, oh, I don't feel like going to fitness because, I'm not very good at this, go to fitness, have fun, right? Laugh with each other. Joke with each other, build that team, because these are your years of college. So don't let that slip through. And I'll type away to Carly about the clearance.
Awesome. Great.
So yeah, fitness is a lot of fun. Like Cynthia said, with the leadership thing and nobody left behind. It is true. We went on numerous runs with Megan. She's a big runner. So obviously, I'm a little bit better running than some other people, and so are some of my friends in the program. So when we finish our run, the slower people behind us, we turn around, we go back for them, make sure that they're still motivated and want to finish, so that they don't feel left out or less than. So
Yeah.
There's a big teamwork aspect in the programs, specifically in police foundations. I'm sure it's the same across the board. So
it's definitely one of those fundamental. I was going over with Kyle earlier about competencies for the OPP, and Teamwork's a major competency regardless of whether you want to work at Subway or you want to be a doctor or you want to be a teacher or you want to be a corrections officer. Like, teamwork is something that's imperative across the board. And it's really something that we pride ourselves on from a grassroots level, whether that's within your program section or whether that's with the other justice programs, or whether that's even something that we're trying to do a little bit more of in relationship to some of the other emergency services. We're trying to integrate a few opportunities and whatnot with programs like the paramedic program or fire or whatnot, because these are the people you're likely to be working with, hopefully years down the road. And I think that it's huge to kind of get that head start in fundamental values. And like I said, it's you can't be too good of a leader. You can't be too good of a communicator. And you never know, Dalton going back or, students going back and really pushing each other through. I mean, that could make or break somebody's day, right? You never know what, student living now is more complex than it's ever been in the past. And the challenges that you will all face are much greater than the challenges that I faced 10 years ago as a student. And I'm sure everybody else can attest to that. And it's hard, right? It's hard. More and more students are working, more and more students are moving from home, more and more students have higher expectations of what they're hoping to get out of any program. And it's okay to kind of rely on the people around you on those days that, may not be, you may not be that 10 out of 10, right? And we're not always 10 out of 10 either, but we know that, we feed off of you as well too. So just be mindful of the fact from a support standpoint, it goes both ways. And I know Dalton can attest to, there's always a handful of characters that are students, and I can come roaming into the gym pretty grumpy for whatever reason, whether it's my kids or an email or whatever that may be, maybe my car, who knows?
Maybe it's your Toronto Maple Leafs.
Maybe it's my Toronto Maple Leafs or Cincinnati Bengals. But I mean, I rely on students to pick me up some days, no different than students rely on me. So it is a two-way street. And obviously I can't wait to meet you guys. It's super exciting. Every year is exciting, but we've never had the opportunity to chat within a situation like this, 14 weeks in advance, and really get a good grasp of who it is that's coming into our program and that coming into our family, as Bill said, at Cambrian College, and, making contact with you guys now and hopefully maintaining contact throughout the summer, to me is just uber exciting. So once again, I really appreciate you guys taking the time, and please don't hesitate to reach out. When I say that all of us are here for you, whether it's Sam, Cynthia, even Dalton, if you want to ask Dalton some personal questions about what it's like to live in residence and how the parties are or how the parties aren't, whatever that may be, Dalton will tell you the truth, right? If I thought Dalton was a liar, I wouldn't have invited him tonight. Like I said, we're all in this together, and especially with everything that's going on in the world, like that, it's okay to utilize the resource around you, and it just speaks volumes to all of us faculty and all the students and all the staff of building those relationships, because especially with the way things are right now, like not every day is a 10 out of 10, right? So it's important to act like a team and always be there for your friends, because your friends are always going to be there for you when you're not having the best day either. So awesome. All right. Thanks. Anybody have anything else? No problem, man. I'm all amped up right now.
I could tell, man.
It's pretty fun.
Run through a wall right now.
Yeah, that's right. I could run through a wall.
It's time to go for a run. Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I'm going fishing.
I'm gonna go for a run too. I don't think I've got off this chair all day, so I'm gonna move around. Like, you got me pumped, man. Let's do it.
I was gonna say, worst case scenario, I could go out and cut the lawn.
Yeah, I know. I cut the lawn last night. It was hot.
Just like today.
So, yeah, exactly. Anybody have anything else? It's an open forum. If you've got questions, comments, concerns, fitness, programs, Cambrian.
Hey, Thomas, while we wait for some questions to roll in, or if any do, why don't you explain the picture behind you there?
All right, so the picture behind me, I'll see if I can get out of the way. So that's with our Greater Sudbury Police Tactical Unit. So these guys that are dressed up in the fancy stuff. So tactical policing is, or the TAC unit in Sudbury is a series of 12 officers who deal with high-risk calls, hostage situations, any like super intense stuff. Like I said, the unit's only 12. I think we have about 260 or 270 uniform officers in Sudbury, and these 12 kind of deal with the most intense, high risk cases. They run a 20-hour standoff there Sunday night here in town, and we actually started a project here this past year in combination with the physical fitness management program, in terms of redesigning their standardized fitness test for the TAC unit. So it's a pretty big deal. This is, you'll see here, the majority of the students in the picture here are first year police foundation students, who are actually the guinea pigs per se, who had a chance to run through this new standardized fitness test. It's going to be implemented as the one and only task specific fitness test for a Greater Sudbury Police Tactical Unit. So you will all get a chance to see it during your time. You will get a chance, the fit of the fit will get a chance to try it, and or anybody who wants to. The tests, Dalton brought it up because he did the fastest.
No, that's not why I brought it up, is because it was a cool opportunity for us to meet and talk to the guys and talk about their job and how it was to get there to that point in their career.
For sure, and I think that that's something that we pride ourselves across on all of our justice programs, of getting you, injecting may not be the right word, but injecting you into industry and making you rub shoulders with people that could potentially be your boss, could be potentially interviewing you in, whether it might even be, Cynthia can speak to tours of correctional facilities and stuff like that. We don't want you to leave Cambrian whenever you're done, however long that may be. It's 2 years, you do a second diploma or second degree, and it takes you 3 years and get that one extra diploma. Like, we want you ready to go, and we don't want you to enter industry and be shell shocked. All the jobs that we're preparing you for are hard jobs to get, right? Whether it's policing, corrections, whatever it may be. Obviously there's an abundance of opportunities that you could eventually work your way into, but they're hard jobs to get, and anything we can do that can make our students 1% better than the students that may be attending post-secondary education down the road or at another institution somewhere in the province. That's huge for us. And obviously not only having current active officers, I'll speak strictly to police foundations right now, but not only having our students, get a chance to chat and see with and network with but officers of Greater Sudbury Police or OPP. But we want to open your eyes to some specialty units as well too, and know that, it's great, obviously, if you can end up getting a career, a policing job, that's phenomenal. But just know that there's all sorts of endless opportunities out there that exist beyond uniform policing. And the tactical unit is definitely an example of that. And I think it was a great opportunity for our students, and a partnership in which we're going to continue moving forward. So like I said, come the fall, you'll get a chance to meet some of the guys when they come in to do their testing and watch them do it, practice it yourself, hopefully. And just another differentiating factor for Cambrian that I think sets us apart from a lot of our competition. And we really pride ourselves on, like I said, we want you rubbing shoulders with the experts and the people that are doing the jobs that ultimately you want to get. So pretty neat project, and something that all of you will hopefully hear about in greater detail come September.
Awesome.
Anybody else? I'm parched.
Well,
You're doing your usual, Thomas. You're chatting.
Yeah, shocker.
I know, exactly.
I'd rather do it leaning up against your office door, if I'm being honest, but this
I
is
know.
how I do it right now.
We could be having coffee, like,
Yeah,
in real
exactly.
time.
Exactly.
Yes, or
folks.
in Sam's case, he's gonna have a Corona, because
Yeah.
that was the Freudian slip that came out right away.
Yeah, that's right. It's on his mind.
Yep.
Well,
So-
it's 8 o'clock. Typically, I'm not working at this time. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's for sure.
Exactly.
If there's no other questions, I'm going to say, first of all, just thank you everybody for showing up today. We like to laugh, we like to have fun here, but we want you to leave with an amazing education. And as a former Cambrian student and somebody who's working at Cambrian now, I know exactly what Cambrian education entails. And I got my dream job after I took my program at Cambrian. And I know Thomas might work you hard, but in the end, after it's all said and done and you're doing what you love in your career, you're going to thank the hard work that you put in, and not just Thomas's classes, but all of your professors' classes, because again, they want to see you be successful. That's what they're there to do. And once you're working in your field, doing what you love, you're gonna just so appreciate everything that that your professors have done for you. So I want to thank you guys for being here today. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email myself, Thomas, or Cynthia. And if you want to talk to Dalton about anything really, I guess student life, right? Like if you have current student perspective, I graduated feels like a long time ago, so I'm kind of out of the loop with that stuff now. So, but if you want to talk to anybody, any of us, feel free to just reach out anytime. We'd love to answer any questions that you have, and we're hoping to see you all here in September. And Thomas, did you want to add anything before we head out, or?
No, I mean, I don't think so. For anybody, like, obviously make sure you get my email. Or you'll have I guess you guys all have my address from the original email that I had sent out and the friendly reminder. Don't be a stranger. I can't wait to meet all of you come September. If you guys have questions, your friends have questions about other programs, or maybe they're unsure of post-secondary with everything, like obviously I can only speak for myself and the people that are here, but we're all like this, right? We all want to help. We all want, regardless whether you're interested in a trade or health sciences or whatever it may be, business, like we all want to help. And obviously there's so much uncertainty with everything going on right now, and post-secondary institutes, you know, delivering things so differently on a case-by-case basis. If any of you or anybody you know have questions about anything in relationship to Cambrian College and what we're doing here to make sure that you're best supported and best prepared, come September, ask them, right? Ask me, even if you're not, you know, you've got your best friend's interested in business, I'll get you in contact with business. That's not a problem. We'll make sure you're looked after, because it is, there's so many unknowns right now. And it's kind of nerve-wracking and stuff like that. But yeah, this is, it's uncertain times, and yeah, Dalton put his email there. So appreciate that, Dalton.
I was just going to say, if anybody actually wants to ask any questions through email in private kind of thing, I have no problem answering them. Obviously through the day I'm working, so I might not be able to get to them till a little later in the afternoon, but I'll try my best. So
yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything? This is kind of a last call, I guess.
We got all our emails, so feel free to reach out by email if you have anything else. So I will end the meeting right now. That's okay with everybody here?
If you want, Sam, I can even, like, if I don't, it's probably Cynthia too, if we want to hang around and answer questions, if anybody would rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take, if you're good, like, yeah, you can take off whatever, but if anybody, like, obviously you guys are more than welcome to take off. But if you'd rather ask questions on a more direct basis, or you want to, you know, like I said, schedule a subsequent meeting at a later date, shoot me an email, shoot Cynthia an email, Sam, whatever. Like,
I'm here.
It's our job to help. So if not, hopefully I answered some questions, you know, gave you guys a better idea of what to expect come September. And I know I'm beating the dead horse here, but I really can't wait to meet all of you come that day after Labor Day. So it's exciting stuff. All right.
You're welcome.
See you later, Lindsay. Thanks.
Carly,
Awesome.
thank you.
Great, Carly.
What a great group we've got tonight.
Yeah, good. Exciting stuff. Did Allison pop in?
No, but she was texting me. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ron.
I'm like, yeah, we're all good. We're all.
Did we have anybody who didn't last? I'm trying to think.
No, everyone did stuff on.
12 or 13 with Amber, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because I was keeping track of everybody the whole time too. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. So you have those emails contacts then, Sam?
Sorry.